Hello there, Josh here. The purpose of this particular video is to simply focus on sections 2 and 3, uh, the any notes bit and the microsystem test zone. Um, I will start with the key as always, and I hammer home this point every time. The key is your friend, which I try and keep up to date as best I can, with all the different links and the information that you need to attack all of the content within the daily members posts, including the red ratings pointers, the trainer form, GG's trainer form symbols, the elite squad, the S1 and S6 to denote which strategy any particular qualifier hits in section 1, the advised flat strategies link there, the advised jump strategies, and if you still haven't read through either of those two, then I'm not quite sure what you've been doing in truth. And all members' research articles, which is what I want to focus on here, which is kind of includes the training track profiles, reports, the test zone, which I'll get onto in a moment, monthly articles, big meeting notes, David Pete's profiles, etc. Before I get on to section 3 and the kind of microsystem test zone, for those of you who are not aware what section 2 is, these are my own subjective interpretation of all of the horses from section 1. I look through, firstly, for the purpose of my own betting, every horse in section 1 and work out if there's anything that I want to be particularly bullish on or want to back. Some of the strategies I focus on systematically, some I don't. That's a personal choice. I like taking my own subjective view to the horses as starting points and coming up with my own opinion on what I want to be more confident on and what I want to back out with any of the advised strategies. I get the most joy obviously from seeing the strategies perform over time and build steady and consistent profits, but on a kind of daily basis, I suppose from a sense of professional and personal pride, I get a lot of satisfaction from this notes and this kind of profit pile, hopefully with any luck, touch wood, building up over time. Since I changed the approach, section 2, at the start of September, where I kind of took the shackles off a bit, I was restricting myself with a kind of trying to find one horse which looked most interesting, but for whatever reason, psychologically and various others, that wasn't that successful. It was profitable, but not as successful as I would have liked. So I'm kind of a bit more forgiving of horses, really, I think, now with this kind of notes approach. And in any case, any horse you see within section 2 is a positive take on some of the horses from section 1. I looked through all of them, and they're the ones that look most interesting to my own subjective judgment. I suppose this is the element of the daily posts, which you could view as tipping. If you wanted to follow me out with any strategies, then those horses that you see within the notes section that are in italics usually are the ones to focus on, and they are the ones which underpin the results here, which you can see in the brackets, which are simply based on 1-point win bets, level staking, as simple as that. You get the horse. Clearly, there'll be nothing in these notes horses which does not originate from section 1. The horse has to have hit my stats, and that's the whole point of this, is a starting point. And the members club, I suppose, is a window into my own approach to try and make this game as enjoyable and profitable as possible, with the hope that some of you enjoy the ride along the way, and also find it useful for your own betting and punting and enjoyment of this great sport. And yes, they're the horses which I have positive views on, which I like the price, I like the profile, and I'm kind of testing and prodding myself in getting the best out of my own content with my subjective eyes. And like I said, I get a lot of enjoyment when I'm right with these particular horses, having used section 1 as a starting point. So that is section 2. Any notes? Use, abuse, ignore, leave as you please. I should say, I suppose, if you are going to follow that, again, you should probably have a separate bank because of the odds I'm generally focusing on. It hasn't happened yet. That strike rate's probably a fair bit higher than it might end up being. There will be losing runs, as always. There will be plenty in the 10 to 20 range. There may be the odd one that's kind of 40. That will hurt, but it will probably happen. So you have to be able to absorb such runs and hopefully have confidence in the long run. I wouldn't dive in with bigger than kind of £2.50 bets any more than you would starting following some of the advised strategies. But I'd probably have a kind of 100-point bank for that just to make sure, because you never know. But hopefully I can keep piling on the profits over time. So that's section 2. Section 3 is the test zone. Now, if I skip back up to the key, all of the research for the test zone angles can be found within the All Members Research Articles part of the key. Hopefully that is straightforward enough. If I click on that, this post opens up, which I'll try and keep updated periodically. The first part I will, before I get on to the test zone, which is in a moment, I will just kind of explain and go through this step by step. So the first, you've got the trainer track profiles. They are the links to the main stats which underpin all qualifiers in section 1. You can click through those, download, read through, use as you please. We've then got David Pete's profiles, which are a new addition to the members club just for this year. David got in touch and asked if he could share his kind of profiling work. Arguably, he was the founding father of horse profiling. He's taken a kind of couple years off for various reasons over the last couple of seasons from doing this, and he's kind of getting back into the profiling game. And it's kind of a good test. If nothing else, it's a very kind of enjoyable and informative read, and is a different approach that you can take to horse racing. So you've got the kind of main PDF there, which has a kind of password protected, and you've got his regular updates there as well. So that's there to use again as you please. Then we get on to the test zone, and these are what underpins the qualifiers within section, within the test zone section. There are flat jockeys, course and distance specialists. They'll obviously stop soon as the flat season comes to an end this weekend. The Irish training reports, we had Twister season, which kind of won 45 points if following every qualifier multiple times. The research is there. There's various trainers. We're focusing, there's a bit of a focus on Tom Lacey at the moment. You can find the research that underpins, his qualifiers there. There's the jumps and all-weather jockeys, course and distance specialists. I need to add those in, and I'll start following those from next week. I'm talking to you on the 10th of November, and we'll make sure I start posting qualifiers for those from next week. And then yes, there's the trainer track profiles jumps 2017 2-year stats from the start of 2016, which is a bit of an experiment and to try and cover some of those trainers that have been doing well recently, and that may not be included, or those angles that are not included excuse me, within the main trainer track profiles report. All of that test zone information, section 3 of the members post, is there, as all the information is, to use as you please, to read through, if nothing else, just to find it kind of entertaining or informative to read through some of that research. The idea is I always like to be thinking and try to get one step ahead of the game, and to come up with new ideas and angles and ways in, and really just to add some more content, I suppose, that can add to all of our enjoyment of the sport, and hopefully add to some profit. So that's there. It's quite straightforward. Anything I add in the test zone, I'll flag up and add to that pile there. There are then some monthly articles. For those of you who don't know, I write a monthly kind of article for the Betting Insiders Club. It's about 2,000 words. It's normally research focused and trainer focused at that, or jockey focused. It does include some of the stuff you get within the members club anyway, some of those articles. But in any case, they part of the kind of conditions is that I'm allowed to share them with you as a kind of exclusive bonus for you as my members. Again, you can read through, use, ignore, do whatever you want with those. We then get big meeting notes. As you know, that's another kind of benefit of the members club, is where I will look at various different meetings which have happened historically, and try and home in on any trainers who have targeted such meetings, with the aim, as I do when I do those notes and reports, I flag up any qualifiers or notes again during those race meetings. That information is there to use as you please, mainly as starting points. Some of them systematically are interesting. They have mixed results up and down. Some are very, very profitable. Some make a loss. Over time, I think they've done quite well as a kind of portfolio. And of course, then there's the big ones. There's the Cheltenham Festival in Aintree and Punchestown. I particularly go to town on Cheltenham. And of course, those of you that are here for Festival Week will get to enjoy all of that. We did very well last year in terms of the trends and the tips and everything else. There's the more recent big meeting notes for the 2017-18 jump season. Next week's Cheltenham November meeting will be the next focus there. And then there's some really old articles from the Betting Insiders Club, etc. Reading through all of those, especially if you like building your own systems or angles or have horse race base or something else. Hopefully there is plenty of content there for you to kind of dive in. You may use as starting points, you may improve on some of the angles. In any case, it may give you some ideas. So yeah, that's that as I tick round to 11 minutes. That is the research articles post. That is section 2 explained and section 3 hopefully. And yeah, that's that really. I will leave that there and say hopefully you found that of some use. And yeah, until the next time, this is Josh saying bye for now.